Howdy YouTube, my name is Aurora. I'm here making a video because I think I might have solved the death order for the kids in Five Nights at Freddy's. For this theory, I'll be using evidence from Toy Chica's high school years, the Fruity Maze and Security Puppet minigames from Pizzeria Simulator, as well as Foxy Go 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 and some of Hand Unit's lines. Additionally, I will be referencing a couple of comments and theories that will be linked in the description. Without any further ado, let's get into the theory. At the beginning of the first episode of Toy Chica, the high school years, we see that there's already a part of an animatronic in Toy Chica's backpack, which basically everyone agrees represents David, the crying child's accidental death. It's not included in the series because even though it's William's fault, he didn't commit the murder. Then Toy Chica says this.
I told him that I needed help with my homework, but once he's there, I'll have him. And once I have him, he'll be mine forever.
Now, it's disguised in the set dressing of the cutscene, but the important parts are the I told him I needed help and once he's there. This, to me and many others, screams Charlie. While in the Save Him minigame, we just see Afton pull up and kill Charlie in front of everyone, that's obviously not the one-to-one events of what happened. It's a representation which I believe to be a result of remnant and agony affecting an existing arcade game at Freddy's. The Security Puppet minigame, on the other hand, is almost certainly a game made by Henry to tell the player, Mike, what happened to the kids. In Security Puppet, we see that Charlie is locked outside of the restaurant like in Save Him, but then her dead body is left in the alley beside the pizzeria. So what I think happened is this. Charlie gets locked out by the kids bullying her. During that time, William drives by. Propelled by jealousy of Henry and his anger about David's death, he decides he's going to kill her. He steps out of his car and tells Charlie he needs her help. Now, this man is her father's friend and business partner, so she trusts him. She follows him into that alley, and he kills her, leaving her body in the alley. In episode 2, Toy Chica says,
I told him that someone ran over his dog in front of my house. But once he's there, I'll entice him with warm cookies, lure him inside, invite him inside, and then I'll have him. And once I have him, he'll be mine forever.
Again, this one is pretty agreed on. We know from the Fruity Maze minigame that Susie was lured to the back while at Freddy's, likely while playing Fruity Maze itself, and killed in the safe room off camera. I'm going to handle episode 3 later for reasons that you will see. In episode 4, Toy Chica tells us,
I told him that I've taken several live hostages at my house, but once he's there, I'll tell him that I let them go because I love him. He'll fall for me immediately. And once I have him, he'll be mine forever.
This is where I think I've actually come up with an independent thought here. Of the victims we have left, there's Gabriel, Freddy, Fritz, Foxy, and Jeremy, Bonnie. I don't include Cassie because her death is pretty agreed on as well. We know precious little about these three. There's almost no characterization of them. I wanted to connect Foxy with running, but that could be construed with multiple of the stories, and then I realized Foxy Go 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 shows us William standing in the corner smiling and Foxy running to a room full of children. That sounds about as close to several live hostages as one can get, so Fritz is the fourth death. In episode 5, Toy Chica says,
I told him to come over later. That should be enough. And if he doesn't show up, I'll just go to his house. And if he doesn't open the door, I'll just find a window. Chimney's always an option. Or I could set the house on fire and wait for him to run out. Then he could run into my arms.
Now, what stands out to me is the window part, because in Later That Night, we see a window that's broken. At Day 1361 commented on a video from GiBi's Horror Homestead explaining their theory that Mustard Man is actually Jeremy from FNaF 2, and that he comes back each night because his son is, well, Jeremy Jr., like how there's a bar named Junior's in Later That Night. So that means that Later That Night depicts William abducting Jeremy Jr. and luring him back to Freddy. This leaves episode 3 description.
I told him that my house was on fire. But once he's there, I'll tell him that I threw myself on the flames to put them out. He'll be so impressed that he'll fall for me immediately. And once I have him, he'll be mine forever.
I'm going to be real, I don't fully get the connection here. I think it means William told Gabriel, the last remaining victim, that there was a fire or something urgent and asked for his help, then led him to the back room and killed him. Finally, episode 6 treats us to this haunting description.
I'll just wait for him after school, throw a bag over his head, hit him with a shovel, and drag him into the back of my car. Then, when he wakes up, I'll tell him that someone was trying to kidnap and kill him. I don't know, Balloon Boy maybe. And then I'll tell him that I rescued him. He'll fall for me immediately.
This is widely believed to be Cassidy's death, a horrifying, painful kidnapping before the agonizing death of being spring-locked in Golden Freddy. So that's that, right? Wrong. We still have Elizabeth to figure out. This means we have to talk about a few things. First, I'm a believer in Cassidy CI, or in other words, that Cassidy is the only murder that happens in FNaF 2. This makes the MCI Charlie, Susie, Gabriel, Fritz, and Jeremy. GiBi has a video laying out this theory, and I'll link that in the description. Additionally, something he doesn't cover there but was brought up in a comment by @PizzaStopsTime, Charlie wouldn't have been reported as dead to the police. Their policy is to file a missing persons report within 90 days, as Phone Guy tells us in Night 1 of FNaF 1.
Upon discovering that damage or death has occurred, a missing person report will be filed within 90 days or as soon as property and premises have been thoroughly cleaned and bleached and the carpets have been replaced.
Anyways, this gives us the information that the first 5 murders happened in 1985, then the last happened in 1987. The second thing we need to talk about is when the heck does sister location happen? We know that William sent Mike down into the bunker. If William disappears, taking on a fake identity to become a night guard at Freddy's, which we see in FNaF 2's minigames, similar to how he assumed a fake identity to work at Freddy's and Silver Eyes. He does this because, although he was never convicted and sent to jail, at least Fazbear was pretty sure he was behind the MCI, so obviously they wouldn't want him back, let alone as a night guard. So, having gone missing and left Mike with instructions to go to the sister location bunker, he works 1 week as night guard and then a second week as day guard with Jeremy as night guard. During those same 2 weeks, Mike is in sister location, 1 week in the base game and another in custom night, ending with Ennard leaving him and, the whole "you won't die" section. After that, and with the knowledge of his father's crimes, he goes to work at Freddy's, the FNaF 2 Night 7. But he's too late. His dad is gone, Jeremy has been bitten, so that means that the main part of sister location happened at the same time as FNaF 2. This tells us that Elizabeth has to have died before Cassidy, who I believe dies in the week before Jeremy is at the FNaF 2 location, which is the same time that I think Mike is at sister location. But I think we can go further. At the beginning of sister location, Hen Unit says,
"Allow me to fill this somewhat frightening silence with some light-hearted banter. Due to the massive success, and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it was clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender in children's entertainment."
While this could just mean that Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental opened after the closing of Freddy's, I think it means that the launch of Circus Baby's Pizza World was after Freddy's closed. Think about it. William just killed 5 kids at Freddy's Pizza, and it closed soon after. Wouldn't it make sense for him to use that to launch another business trying to capitalize off the tragedy that he caused? Especially if Withered Circle's theory about Henry taking the fall is true. William, who is tormented by his idolization of and anger at Henry, kills his daughter and 4 other kids, ruining Henry's life and business, and then uses that to make his own business with child napping robots. That's hard to say. The only issue I have with this theory is that I have no idea what to do with the FNaF 3 minigames. They have to happen after FNaF 2 because William isn't spring-locked in FNaF 2, but that means they can't depict him harvesting remnant from them like many believe. My best explanation is that he had access to the Wizards with their remnant and took some of it pre-FNaF 2 to experiment with in the sister location bunker. Indeed, maybe that's why they're so broken in the first place. William took parts from them, then more parts were used to make the toys. That would mean the FNaF 3 minigames are post-FNaF 2 and sister location, where William has lost the fun times and toys and is now coming back to get more remnant from the repaired classics, but he fails and gets spring-locked. So the death order is this. In 1983, due to William's A-plus parenting, Mike accidentally gets David killed by Fredbear. He leaves some remnant in Fredbear, but mostly inhabits his beloved Fredbear plushie, which he undoubtedly has on his deathbed. 2 years later, William, full of rage, grief, and jealousy, kills Charlie by luring her into the alley by Freddy's. Her death isn't reported, but within 90 days she'll be reported missing by Fazbear's. William soon notices that the puppet is acting almost possessed. To test his theory, on the evening of June 26, 1985, he lures Susie and Gabriel to the back room and kills them even as the last parties are wrapping up. In the following days, he lures Fritz and Jeremy to Freddy's after hours and kills them. The 2 killings on the 26th are reported first as they have the most solid connection to Freddy's, but soon missing persons reports come in for Charlie, Fritz, and Jeremy. This ties the 5 instances together to Freddy's. The camera footage shows someone using the spring Bonnie suit to lure kids into the back, but doesn't show who. William is able to make Henry take the fall, leading to his imprisonment. As Freddy struggles to stay open, Charlie helps the other kids possess their animatronics out of a belief that she's doing what she can to save them. But eventually, Freddy's closes and William gets possession of the animatronics. He makes the fun times and injects them with remnant from the Core 4, but he still wants to do further experiments, so he uses the fun times at his newly opened restaurant to try and get another kid. What he doesn't expect is for that kid to be his own daughter. After Circus Baby's Pizza World is turned into Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, William is rudderless. He's full of anger and grief, and the only kid he has left is the one who's responsible for another of his kids' deaths. But then a new Freddy's opens, and William believes he has a new opportunity to experiment and take out his growing rage. He applies for a job as the night guard at Freddy's under a false name. He brutally kidnaps Cassidy after school and brings her to his night shift. There, he shoves her into the last remaining costume and tests if the method of death affects possession. Cassidy brutally dies as she's spring-locked in the old Fredbear costume. Then, he cleans up after himself, removing the bodies from all 6 animatronics. He switches to the day shift, complaining about the animatronics justifiably hating him. But at the same time, he'd sent Mike to the sister location bunker to try and undo his mistake with Elizabeth. At the end of William's second week at Freddy's and Mike's second week at sister location, Mike calls his father.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
William realizes that he has to leave, and he quits his job at Freddy's. The night guard that replaced William, Jeremy Sr., a regretful father who'd push away his son before losing him, is moved to the day shift to cover William's absence for the last day. Mike gets a job at Freddy's, but he's too late. William is gone, and the restaurant closes for good. So yeah, that is my theory on what happened and what the deaths were in their order. I'm probably going to make at least another few videos because I do have another couple of theories, so stay tuned and subscribe. Right, playing Fruity Maze itself, and killed in the safe room off camera. Ooh. Again, this one is pretty agreed on. We know from the Fruity Maze minigame that Susie was lured to the back out, but I am not doing that well. Again, this one is pretty agreed on. We know from the Fruity Maze... Why can't I speak? Depict him harvesting Revenant. That is so hard to say. I'm gonna cut all that out.